a few things about the call we had with Tesla. We spoke with the IR on a quarterly call, and it's not earth-shattering. These calls are pretty standard calls. There's no information that we get there that is necessarily new in a sense that it wouldn't be public or anything like that. Excuse me. But the purpose of the call is to kind of solidify our own thoughts and make sure we're on the right path. So there's two things that we wanted to discuss. One is the FSD situation in China, and the other is the battery constraint apparently that Tesla is on. So we want to talk about these things. It's not even on podcast. It's February 14, 2025. This is Krim Delco. For the year, we're down 10%. The market's up 3%. We're underperforming by 13%. So FSD in China has been a topic recently because apparently there are competitors, BYD, there's XPeng. There's a lot of claims that are made in China about who is good at what. And we wanted to clarify that with the IR. And I think the message that we got from Tesla is something that we believe is it matches our scientific view of real world AI. And the message is that you need two things to build a functioning real world AI system. You need the data and you need a fully integrated system. So the idea that you can have a commoditized AI, real world AI system where you have a layer of AI on top of a hardware layer, on top of an operating system layer. So let's say, BMW makes their own operating system for the car, buys the hardware from Continental and Bosch, and then has an AI, let's say, on top of it that comes from whatever, Google or Huawei or something like that. That is not the way we see it. And that is based on really a gut feeling, a scientific gut feeling that you need to be fully integrated. If you look at the history of compute all the way back to the beginnings of Silicon Valley, the big breakthroughs have always happened in an integrated fashion. Now, sometimes they were sort of one company doing it, like Apple, but most of the times it was, let's say, Microsoft and Intel. Yes, they are two different companies, but they very closely work together to create what was called Wintel. So in that sense, the reason you need full integration is because you have to optimize on every layer of the stack in order to get efficiency and in order to get also accuracy and performance. And if you don't have that, it's going to be very difficult to compete with somebody who has it. So that's number one. And second, it's also going to be fairly difficult to actually get the kind of performance that people are looking for. So having said that, we believe that Tesla's advantage as a fully integrated company, by the way, also in the data collection side of things. So, and that's something that is still being overlooked, that the data collection itself actually is part of the stack, right? The same way you work on, advanced models, the same way you work on advanced chips, you also have to have advanced data collection technology, whether that is the actual availability of data. So you have the cameras that Tesla is using to drive, but then also the back end. So how do you actually upload that data, and how do you make sure you have the kind of data that you need in order to make forward-looking AI? Because what you need is diversified data and you need good quality data. So those are the two things that are important when it comes to data collection. So this fully integrated approach, in our opinion, is the key to success for Tesla. And therefore, we believe that the FSD will succeed in the US and eventually in China and in Europe. There are regulatory barriers. We believe that it's clearly a strategic move by China to keep Tesla away from the Chinese market by pretending that they don't let them train the data, they don't let them export the data for training in the US, and the Tesla cannot import H100, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. We believe that is a strategic game that the Chinese are playing. On the one hand, they want to entice Tesla to lobby so they can import H100s. On the other hand, they also want their own companies to have a leg up on Tesla. But given the way it works, for example, if BYD is using NVIDIA chips and Huawei software, that is not integrated, and therefore we believe that the performance and the quality and the cost will not be at par with Tesla. So the other topic we wanted to discuss was battery constraint. Elon said that they're battery constrained. The way we see that is that battery constraint means several things. First, it means that you don't have the kinds of batteries that you might need at a certain factory to develop a certain product. There are different lines of batteries for different lines of product, whether it's Megapack, whether it's Cybertruck, whether it's Model Y, whether it's Model 3. And there could be a mismatch of those. Now, the way Abhinav said it on the call was the 20-30% growth that Elon was talking about in the fall comes from a sort of Goldilocks scenario where all of these moving parts fit together. And if they don't fit together, then Tesla's growth could be battery constrained. That is, I would say, a decent explanation, but we still believe that if there was enough demand for products and the factories are in place, Tesla would make an effort to deliver those products. So there's probably also a little bit of a demand issue, but nevertheless, that's what we wanted to discuss. One more thing we wanted to mention is that there is a mismatch between what Tesla is able to do in China and what the Chinese are allowing them to do. And I want to come back to the FSD point. And the problem here is that we have, Donald Trump talks a lot about reciprocity. Well, here's a reciprocity that is not given. So we have 400,000 Chinese students that every year come to the United States to study at our universities. So we trust them with our knowledge, our deepest strategic asset, which is our intellectual and technical knowledge. But then the Chinese don't trust us with videos that supposedly we can export to train our models. There's a mismatch here, and I think this mismatch should be taken care of. To summarize, the two big aspects that we wanted to discuss: one, FSD situation in China, the competitive situation with FSD, and the other, the battery constraint situation that Elon Musk mentioned. Both of them are real issues. Both of them are, in our opinion, particularly the FSD situation is certainly something that is solvable, that is okay. So meaning as Tesla shareholders, we should be comfortable. And as far as battery constraint, I think it's a little bit of a disguise in terms of not having enough demand at the right places. So it's a kind of a mix. And I think the Tesla situation right now is exactly like that. It's a mix of good things and bad things. The valuation is high, so we're certainly going to have to suffer probably more than cheer in the next coming weeks. But the catalysts are interesting, particularly unsupervised FSD. And the way it is with these types of technologies, we overestimate them in the short run, we underestimate them in the long run. So in the long run, the value creation of Tesla is definitely given. Thank you.